The morning started like any other at the Global Defense Command Center. The massive screens on the wall showed the usual satellite feeds, weather patterns, and global military movements. Major James Wilson was on his third cup of coffee when every alarm in the facility started blaring at once. "Sir, multiple objects entering Earth's atmosphere," shouted Lieutenant Brown from his monitoring station. His fingers flew across the keyboard as new data streamed in. They're massive, sir, and they're slowing down." Wilson spat out his coffee and grabbed the emergency phone. Within minutes, the command center was packed with military officials from around the world, all watching as 7 enormous ships, each the size of a small city, positioned themselves in a perfect circle around Earth. The main screen flickered, and then a face appeared. The alien was tall and gray-skinned, with 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its uniform sparkled with medals and insignias that no human had ever seen before. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, its voice deep and commanding. "I am Commander Gray of the Dominion Fleet. Your planet has been chosen for immediate integration into our empire. Surrender now, and we will be merciful." Captain Tom Miller, the highest-ranking officer present, stepped forward. He was a simple man with simple principles. Protect Earth, protect its people. "This is Captain Miller of Earth's United Defense Force. We respectfully decline your offer. Earth is our home, and we will protect it." Commander Gray's upper eyes narrowed. "Captain Miller, you don't understand your situation. We have watched your planet. We have studied your weapons. Nothing you possess can harm our ships." "Then why demand our surrender?" Miller asked calmly. "If you're so powerful, why not simply take what you want?" The alien commander's face twisted into what might have been a smile. "Because, Captain, we prefer not to damage potential resources. However, if you resist—" He paused for dramatic effect. "We will have no choice but to unleash our greatest weapon, a biological terror that has conquered dozens of worlds." The room fell silent. Miller glanced at Dr. Roberts, their chief scientist, who was already analyzing data from the alien ships. She shook her head. Their scans couldn't penetrate the vessel's hulls. "You have 6 Earth hours to submit your unconditional surrender," Commander Gray continued. "If you refuse, we will release the beast. We have studied your world's defenses, and nothing you have can stop it." The transmission cut off, leaving the command center in tense silence. "Options?" Miller asked the room. General Thompson, a veteran of 3 wars, spoke up. "Our satellite networks show their ships have some kind of energy shielding. Traditional weapons would be useless. And this beast they're threatening us with—" Miller turned to Dr. Roberts. She pushed her glasses up her nose, frowning at her tablet. "Their ships are containing something in a heavily shielded chamber. The energy readings are strange. Not what we'd expect from a typical biological weapon." Miller walked to the window, looking out at the peaceful sky that now held humanity's greatest threat. He thought about his home, his family, all the families on Earth. The weight of the situation pressed down on his shoulders. "Send the message to all military commands worldwide," he ordered. "Full alert. Whatever this beast is, we need to be ready." As the command center burst into activity, Miller couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about the aliens' threat. In all his years of service, he'd learned that when an enemy was truly confident, they didn't need to make threats. The next 6 hours were a blur of activity. Military bases worldwide went into lockdown. Civilian defense protocols were activated. The world held its breath, waiting to see what terror the aliens would unleash. Just before the deadline, Miller stood before the screen again. "Commander Gray, this is our final answer. Earth will not surrender." The alien commander's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Then you leave us no choice, Captain Miller. The beast will be deployed. Remember, you brought this upon yourselves." As the screen went dark, Miller whispered to himself, "Whatever you've got, we'll face it together." He had no idea that the terror about to be unleashed would change everything. just not in the way anyone expected. The world's military forces stood ready, weapons aimed at the sky. In the command center, Captain Miller and his team watched as a small pod detached from Commander Gray's ship. It glowed bright red as it entered Earth's atmosphere, leaving a trail of golden sparks behind it. Tracking system locked on target. Lieutenant Brown announced, his voice tense. The pod will land in Montana. Sir, middle of nowhere. Miller grabbed his jacket. Get me a helicopter. I want to be there when this thing opens. 20 minutes later, Miller was flying over Montana's peaceful countryside with a team of heavily armed soldiers. Dr. Roberts sat beside him, holding advanced scanning equipment. The morning sun painted the mountains gold, making it hard to believe they were about to face an alien superweapon. There, Dr. Roberts pointed at a smoking crater in a green meadow. The pod had landed, leaving a circle of scorched grass around it. The helicopter landed at a safe distance, and soldiers quickly set up a perimeter. Everyone wore full protective gear, expecting anything from poison gas to a giant monster. Movement inside the pod. A soldier reported through the radio. The scanner showed something stirring within the alien container. Miller raised his hand, signaling everyone to take aim. The pod's surface began to crack, letting out a hiss of steam. Everyone held their breath. Then they heard it. Not a roar, not a screech, but a sound that made every soldier freeze in confusion. Woof! The pod split open, and out tumbled a small golden-furred puppy. It had floppy ears, big paws, and a pink tongue that immediately started licking its nose. The soldiers stared. The puppy wagged its tail and let out another happy woof. That's a golden retriever puppy, Dr. Roberts said, lowering her scanner in disbelief. About 8 weeks old, perfectly healthy, and completely normal. The puppy spotted them and bounded over, tripping over its own feet in excitement. It reached Miller first, sat down, and lifted its paw to shake hands. Sir, one of the soldiers asked, still aiming his weapon at the puppy. Should we shoot it? The puppy flopped onto its back, asking for belly rubs. Miller couldn't help but laugh. He knelt down and scratched the puppy's belly. Stand down, everyone. Unless you're afraid of puppy kisses. The command center erupted in chaos when Miller reported back. The aliens' deadliest weapon, their ultimate terror, was a perfectly ordinary puppy. This has to be a trick, General Thompson insisted, watching through video feed as the puppy played with a tennis ball someone had found. They're trying to lower our guard. Dr. Roberts finished her scans, shaking her head in amazement. No tricks, sir. No genetic modifications. No hidden weapons. No alien technology. It's just a puppy. A very friendly, very normal puppy. The main screen lit up. Commander Gray's 4 eyes widened in satisfaction when he saw the puppy playing with the soldiers. So, humans, his voice boomed. Now you see the power of our ultimate weapon. The beast has already begun taking control of your military forces. Miller looked at the puppy, who was now sleeping in a soldier's lap, snoring softly. Yes, Miller said carefully, trying to keep a straight face. The beast is very effective. Of course it is. Commander Gray proclaimed proudly. We intercepted your world's transmissions. We saw these creatures commanding your strongest warriors, guarding your most secure facilities, even controlling your political leaders. Their power to bend humans to their will is legendary. That's when Miller understood. The aliens had seen videos of dogs, police K9 units, military working dogs, and probably a lot of pet videos on social media. They had completely misunderstood humanity's relationship with dogs. The puppy woke up and yawned, showing its tiny teeth before demanding more belly rubs. Sir, Miller addressed Commander Gray, playing along. You're right. We are completely at the mercy of this terrifying creature. In fact, we might need more of them. To ensure our complete submission. All in good time, Commander Gray replied, missing the hint of laughter in Miller's voice. "First, let us see how well this beast performs its duties." As the transmission ended, Miller picked up the puppy, who immediately tried to lick his face. "Well, little one," he said, "looks like you're our secret weapon now." The puppy just wagged its tail, completely unaware that it had just become Earth's most important diplomatic asset. Dr. Roberts sat in her lab, surrounded by screens showing various video clips. The puppy, now named Scout by the soldiers, lay sleeping under her desk after an exhausting session of chasing tennis balls. "Captain Miller, you need to see this," she called out, waving him over to her main screen. "I think I've figured out why the aliens are so convinced dogs are weapons." Miller walked over, carefully stepping over Scout's favorite squeaky toy. The puppy raised his head at the movement, tail thumping against the floor in a sleepy wag. "Look at these transmissions the aliens probably intercepted," Dr. Roberts said, playing a series of videos. Police K-9 units taking down criminals, military dogs guarding bases, Secret Service dogs protecting presidents. She clicked through more clips. And here's the key: social media videos of dogs attacking their owners with kisses, dogs demanding treats, and people saying things like, "My dog owns me," or "I must obey my furry overlord." Miller watched, understanding dawning on his face. They took everything literally. "Exactly." Dr. Roberts pointed at another screen showing Scout's medical results. "They think dogs are some kind of mind control creatures. But look at Scout's tests. He's just a normal, healthy puppy. His only special power is being incredibly adorable." As if on cue, Scout woke up fully and trotted over, dropping his leash at Miller's feet. His big brown eyes looked up hopefully. "See," Dr. Roberts laughed. "They saw things like this and thought dogs were controlling us with some kind of biological power. They completely missed that we choose to care for them because we love them." Miller's phone buzzed. Another message from Commander Gray, demanding a progress report on the beast's effectiveness. He looked at Scout, who was now doing his best trick, sitting pretty for treats. "Doctor, I think we can use this misunderstanding to our advantage," Miller said, scratching Scout behind the ears. "The aliens are so convinced they're right, they're missing what's happening right in front of them." Just then, General Thompson burst into the lab. "Miller, the aliens are demanding proof that their weapon is working. They want to see its power in action." "Sir," Miller replied, a smile forming on his face, "I have an idea." "Doctor, how many dog videos can you gather from around the world? And I mean everything. Military dogs, police dogs, therapy dogs, family pets, all of it." Dr. Roberts grinned, catching on. "Thousands, easily. Every dog owner I know would love to show off their pet." "Perfect." Miller picked up Scout, who immediately tried to lick his face. "Let's show the aliens exactly how dogs have conquered Earth." Over the next few hours, the plan came together. Dr. Roberts collected videos from across the globe. German shepherds following complex military commands, border collies herding sheep, rescue dogs finding survivors in rubble, and countless clips of family dogs doing everything from opening fridges to cuddling with babies. "The aliens think dogs control us," Miller explained to his team. "So let's show them exactly how controlled we are. Every trick, every command, every loving interaction. They'll see it as proof of the dog's power." Scout, now wearing a tiny military vest that one of the soldiers had made him, pranced around the lab proudly. He had no idea he was the center of an interplanetary misunderstanding. "There's something else," Dr. Roberts added, showing Miller new data. "The aliens' atmosphere is similar to Earth's. They could actually handle having dogs on their ships." Miller looked at Scout, then at the videos of dogs worldwide making people smile, laugh, and feel loved. Maybe that's the real solution here. Not fighting, not threatening, just showing them what dogs really mean to humanity. He bent down to pet Scout, who rolled over for belly rubs. His standard response to everything. The aliens think they gave us their ultimate weapon, Miller said. But really, they just gave us a chance to show them one of humanity's greatest discoveries: friendship with dogs. General Thompson watched Scout play with a rope toy. Are you suggesting we fight an alien invasion with puppy love? Miller nodded. Sometimes the best way to change minds isn't through force, it's through understanding. And who better to teach about unconditional love than dogs? Scout barked in agreement, though he was probably just asking for more treats. Either way, Earth's plan to handle the alien threat was taking shape, and it involved lots of tail wags and tennis balls. Captain Miller stood before the World Council, Scout sitting perfectly at attention beside him. The puppy had learned to stay calm during important meetings, though his tail still wagged whenever someone looked his way. Ladies and gentlemen, Miller addressed the emergency session. I propose we show the aliens exactly what they expect to see: Earth completely under dog control. Let's give them so much proof of dogs' power that they'll never question it. The council chamber erupted in discussion. On the main screen, live feeds showed the alien ships still hovering over Earth, waiting for confirmation of their weapon success. You want us to do what? Asked the British representative, adjusting his glasses. Miller gestured to Dr. Roberts, who started playing a series of clips. The aliens think dogs are our secret rulers, so let's prove it. We'll show them dogs commanding humans everywhere, in homes, offices, parks, everywhere. The Australian representative couldn't hold back her laughter. You mean like how my border collie makes me throw her ball for hours? Exactly. Miller pointed to Scout, who was now charming a junior officer into sharing his sandwich. They see this as mind control. We see it as love. Let's use that difference to our advantage. Within hours, the plan went global. News channels worldwide broadcasted the emergency command. All dog owners were to demonstrate their pets' control over humanity. The response was overwhelming. In New York, police dogs led their handlers on training exercises, which the aliens saw as beasts commanding their human servants. In Tokyo, Shiba Inus forced their owners to give them belly rubs in public parks. German shepherds in Berlin ordered their humans to play fetch. Social media exploded with videos. A golden retriever in Canada demanding walks in the snow. A Labrador in Brazil controlling its family by distributing kisses. A husky in Russia commanding its owner to fill its food bowl while howling dramatically. Commander Gray's next transmission caught Miller reviewing the footage. Captain Miller, the alien's voice boomed. We are impressed by the beast's progress. Scout, who had been napping on Miller's desk, perked up at the voice. He tilted his head at the alien's image, ears flopping adorably. Yes, Commander, Miller managed to keep a straight face. As you can see, Earth's population is completely under their influence. Humans everywhere are obeying their commands. The screen split to show various feeds. A corgi forcing its owner to share an ice cream cone. A poodle directing a business meeting by sleeping on the conference table. A bulldog supervising a construction site from its special cushion. Remarkable, Commander Gray mused, all four eyes widening. The level of control is beyond our expectations. How do humans resist their power? Oh, we don't, Miller said truthfully. When they give us these looks, he gestured to Scout's puppy eyes. We are completely helpless. On cue, Scout rolled over, paws in the air, asking for belly rubs. Miller immediately complied, which made Commander Gray nod knowingly. Just as our research suggested, the alien commander said, the humans cannot resist their biological control signals. The operation continued worldwide. Dog shelters reported record adoptions as people joined the resistance. Parks were filled with humans being forced to play with their dogs. Restaurants set up special command centers, pet-friendly patios, where dogs could oversee their humans' meals. Dr. Roberts entered Miller's office, trying not to laugh at the latest batch of videos. Sir, look at this. Someone taught their dog to command them to donate to animal shelters. The aliens are calling it resource redistribution under beast control. Miller watched as more reports came in. A therapy dog controlling an entire hospital by bringing joy to patients. A rescue dog commanding its team to find survivors in a mock disaster drill. A guide dog directing its human through a busy street. You know what's amazing? Miller said, watching Scout play with his favorite rope toy. Everything the aliens are seeing is real. The love, the care, the bonds between humans and dogs. They're just interpreting it completely differently. Dr. Roberts nodded. Sometimes the best way to handle a misunderstanding is to lean into it. Scout brought his toy to Miller, tail wagging hopefully. As Miller started another game of tug-of-war, Commander Gray's words echoed in his mind. The humans cannot resist their biological control signals. Well, Miller mumbled, giving Scout an extra treat. They're not wrong about that part. Commander Gray stood before the massive screens on his ship's bridge, all four eyes blinking rapidly in confusion. His second-in-command, Officer Pike, nervously shuffled through reports from their observation teams. "Sir," Pike said, "we're detecting some unexpected patterns in the beast's control methods." The screens showed various scenes from Earth. A small child was commanding both a large dog and her parents to play in a backyard. The dog seemed to be following the child's orders, completely contradicting their understanding of who should be controlling whom. "Explain this," Gray demanded, pointing at another screen where a dog was allowing a human to dress it in a tiny costume. Why would such a powerful creature permit this? Pike adjusted his uniform nervously. "There's more, sir. Look at these readings from their information networks." Social media feeds flooded the screens. Humans were posting millions of pictures of their controllers, but with strange captions. "Meet my best friend. Happy birthday to my fur baby. Love my precious pupper." On Earth, Captain Miller was giving Scout his morning walk when his phone buzzed. Dr. Roberts had sent him a message. "The aliens are monitoring all dog-related social media. They're getting very confused." Miller looked down at Scout, who was carefully inspecting a butterfly. The puppy had become an internet sensation, with millions of views on videos of his military training, which mostly consisted of learning to sit, stay, and give high fives for treats. Back on the alien ship, Commander Gray was getting more agitated. "These can't be control techniques. Look at this one. The beast is letting tiny humans pull its tail, and it's responding with affection." The screen showed a toddler hugging a patient Newfoundland dog, both looking equally happy. Other monitors displayed similar scenes. Dogs helping elderly humans walk. Dogs playing with children. Dogs sleeping on their humans' beds. "Sir," Pike said hesitantly, "we've also detected something disturbing. When these creatures become old or sick, the humans don't abandon them. They care for them, spend resources on them, even cry for them." Gray paced the bridge, his long fingers tapping against his chin. "It makes no sense. Our research showed these beasts controlling human military units, guarding their leaders, even living in their homes as overlords. But now we're seeing the humans controlling the beasts." Pike finished quietly. "Sir, there's a human gathering happening. They call it a dog show. Perhaps we should watch." The aliens observed as humans and dogs performed together in perfect harmony. Dogs jumped through hoops, navigated obstacle courses, and showed off tricks, all while clearly enjoying themselves and earning treats and praise. "Their control methods are beyond our understanding," Gray muttered, watching a border collie weave through poles with its human trainer. Meanwhile, in the command center, Miller was reviewing the aliens' communications that their tech team had intercepted. "They're completely baffled," he told Dr. Roberts. "Their whole invasion plan was based on using dogs to control us, but now they can't figure out who's controlling who." Scout, wearing his tiny military vest, was demonstrating his newest trick for a group of visiting officials. He balanced a treat on his nose, waiting for permission to eat it. The alien sensors went wild trying to determine if this was a show of human control or dog control. "Sir," Pike suddenly called out, "we're detecting a new phenomenon. Humans are gathering in large numbers at places called dog parks and pet shops. But the beasts, they appear to be encouraging social interaction between humans." Gray watched in disbelief as dogs helped shy humans make friends, brought strangers together for conversation, and created connections between people who might never have met otherwise. "It's as if," Pike said wonderingly, "they're not controlling the humans or being controlled by them. It's almost like—" "Like what?" Gray demanded. "Like their partners," Pike finished, watching a search and rescue team. Human and dog working together, practiced their skills. Gray sank into his command chair, all four eyes fixed on the screens. Everything they thought they knew about Earth's power structure was unraveling. The question was no longer about who controlled whom, but about something much more complex, something the aliens were only beginning to understand. Scout chose that moment to go viral again, this time with a video of him trying to teach his human friends how to howl. The aliens' confusion reached new heights as they tried to determine if this was a control technique, a training exercise, or something else entirely. "Perhaps," Gray said slowly, "we need to reassess our understanding of these creatures and the humans." Commander Gray could no longer ignore the evidence piling up before him. After 3 weeks of observing Earth's beast control program, nothing made sense anymore. He needed answers. "Captain Miller," Gray's voice boomed through the command center speakers, "I request an immediate in-person meeting. I must understand this situation." Miller looked down at Scout, who was busy arranging his toys in a neat circle. "Of course, Commander. Would you like to meet our most successful beast controller?" He gestured to Dr. Roberts, who was teaching Scout to shake hands with a new treat-based technique. An hour later, in a neutral meeting spot, a sunny park outside the military base, Commander Gray's personal shuttle landed. The alien commander stepped out, his tall frame casting a long shadow across the grass. He froze when he saw Scout running around with a group of children, all of them laughing. "Careful, Commander," Miller said seriously, fighting back a smile. "You're about to experience their most powerful control technique. They call it puppy eyes." Scout noticed the new arrival and bounded over, tail wagging so hard his whole body wiggled. He sat politely in front of Gray, tilted his head, and lifted his paw to shake hands, just as he'd been taught. Gray stared at the offered paw. This is your deadliest weapon." "Oh yes," Miller nodded solemnly. "Completely irresistible. You might want to prepare yourself." Hesitantly, Gray reached down with his 4-fingered hand. Scout gently placed his paw in it, gave the alien's hand a tiny lick, and then rolled over for belly rubs. His standard diplomatic approach. "I don't understand," Gray said, unconsciously reaching down to pet Scout. "Our intelligence showed these creatures commanding your military forces, protecting your leaders, living in your homes as masters. But this one, it just wants attention." Dr. Roberts stepped forward, holding Scout's favorite ball. "Commander, I think it's time we explain something about Earth's relationship with dogs. Would you like to throw this ball?" She demonstrated, and Scout happily chased after it, bringing it back and dropping it at Gray's feet. The alien commander's 4 eyes widened as he picked up the ball. "You see," Miller explained as Gray threw the ball, "about 15,000 years ago, humans and wolves began a unique partnership. Over time, those wolves evolved into dogs. They helped us hunt, protected our homes, and became part of our families. We didn't conquer them, and they didn't conquer us. We chose each other." Gray watched as Scout returned with the ball again. "But the commands? The training? The control?" "Watch this," Dr. Roberts said. She took out a treat and held it up. Scout sat immediately, ears perked. "He chooses to learn these things because he wants to please us, and we reward him with things he likes. It's cooperation, not control." A small girl approached them, holding her own puppy. "Mr. Alien, sir," she said. "Would you like to meet my best friend? She knows how to high-five." Gray looked at Miller in confusion. "Best friend. That's what dogs are to us," Miller explained. "Not weapons, not controllers, not servants. Friends, family members, partners. Every video you saw of dogs controlling humans was actually just humans and dogs showing love for each other." The alien commander sat down on a nearby bench, looking dazed. Scout immediately put his head on Gray's knee, offering comfort like he'd been trained to do. "Love?" Gray asked, automatically scratching behind Scout's ears. "You're saying the most powerful force on your planet is love?" "Well," Miller smiled, "that and belly rubs. Would you like to try?" Over the next hour, Gray learned about scratch spots, playing fetch, and the joy of making the dog's tail wag. Children from the park brought their dogs to meet him, each one showing off their favorite tricks. The alien commander found himself laughing for the first time in years when a tiny chihuahua tried to climb into his lap. "All this time," Gray said finally, watching Scout play with the other dogs, "we thought we were giving Earth a weapon. But instead, Miller finished, you helped us show you one of humanity's greatest discoveries, friendship with dogs. They make us better, not because they control us or we control them, but because we chose to be partners." Scout returned to them, dropping a stick at Gray's feet and looking up hopefully. The alien commander picked up the stick, looked at it thoughtfully, and made a decision that would change both species forever. "Captain Miller," he said, throwing the stick for Scout, "I believe we need to revise our approach to Earth, and perhaps discuss the possibility of introducing dogs to my own world." 6 months after the failed invasion, the Global Interspecies Friendship Center opened its doors. The massive building, funded jointly by Earth and the Dominion, stood as a symbol of how a simple misunderstanding had led to an unprecedented alliance. Captain Miller walked through the center's main hall, Scout trotting happily beside him. The once tiny puppy had grown into a handsome young dog, though he still thought he was small enough to sit in everyone's lap. "Captain," Commander Gray called out, waving from beside a large window overlooking the training yard. The alien leader now wore a special badge with a paw print, the symbol of the new Earth-Dominion cooperation program. "How's the first class going?" Miller asked, watching a group of aliens learning about dog care basics. "Remarkably well," Gray replied, his 4 eyes twinkling. Though we had to explain that squeaky toys are not actually distress signals from captured prey. In the training yard, Dr. Roberts was teaching a group of excited aliens how to play fetch. Some were still confused about why they had to throw the ball when the dogs kept bringing it back, but they were learning. "And how's your personal project going?" Miller asked, nodding toward a small office where a familiar face peeked out. Gray's expression softened as his own dog, a rescued border collie named Star, ran up to greet him. "She's teaching me more than I'm teaching her," he admitted, scratching behind Star's ears. "Yesterday, she alerted me to a minor engine problem on my ship before our sensors detected it. The center had become more successful than anyone had imagined." The main hall's walls were covered with photos showing the program's achievements. The first alien dog graduation ceremony, therapy dogs helping aliens adjust to Earth's gravity, and even a few shots of alien children playing with puppies while their parents discussed diplomatic treaties. "The latest numbers are in," Dr. Roberts said, joining them with a tablet in hand. Scout immediately leaned against her legs, his standard greeting for his favorite treat provider. Over 5,000 dogs have been adopted by Dominion families, and the success rate is nearly 100%. "Success indeed," a new voice joined them. Officer Pike, now the head of the Dominion's dog integration program, walked up with his own companion, a gentle Saint Bernard named Atlas. "The Council reports that mental health improvements among our people are off the charts. Who knew that having a friend who loves you unconditionally could be so powerful?" Miller watched as a group of alien children tentatively offered treats to a litter of puppies. The kids' natural caution melted away as soon as the puppies started giving them kisses. You know what the funniest part is? Gray mused, watching Scout teach Star how to beg for treats. We came to conquer Earth with what we thought was your greatest weakness, only to discover it was actually your greatest strength. The center's adoption area was particularly busy that day. Aliens of all ranks were being introduced to potential furry companions, each match carefully considered based on lifestyle and living conditions. Even the most serious Dominion officials couldn't keep their composure when faced with playful puppies. Remember how scared we were of unleashing the beast? Miller laughed, watching Scout roll over for the 100th belly rub of the day. In our defense, Gray chuckled. Your Earth transmissions were very misleading. All those videos of dogs demanding walks and forcing their humans to give them treats. Well, they weren't entirely wrong about that part, Dr. Roberts pointed out as Scout gave her his best puppy eyes, clearly indicating it was dinner time. The day ended with a special ceremony. The first group of Dominion dog trainers was graduating, each paired with their canine partner. As Miller watched Gray give a speech about friendship transcending species, he couldn't help but smile at how far they'd come. Scout lay at Miller's feet, contentedly watching the proceedings. He didn't know he had prevented an invasion, fostered interstellar peace, or helped bridge the gap between two civilizations. He just knew he was surrounded by friends who loved him, and that was all that mattered. You know, Gray said later, as they watched the sunset from the center's roof garden, surrounded by happy dogs and their alien companions, we thought we were sending Earth its doom, but instead, Miller finished, scratching both Scout and Star behind their ears, you helped us share one of humanity's greatest gifts with the universe, the simple, powerful magic of a dog's love. In the end, the greatest weapon turned out to be friendship. The fiercest beast was unconditional love. And the most powerful invasion force was a wagging tail and a wet nose. And somehow, that made perfect sense.